What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pick Swap Media YouTube channel. We are back talking some soccer today with the World Cup ahead. So a little something different, a little change up. And here to help with us, first off, we got my guy Pepe. Pep, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. And we got Jimmy in here as well.
How you
And
doing?
as usual, Ryan Coyle. So to get right into it, we got World Cup coming up. Obviously, kind of unique with the winter, new situation up in just everything kind of strange with this World Cup. But either way, we got some good soccer coming up. We're gonna jump through, kind of go group by group, talk about some Golden Boot, talk about the top favorites and all that. So to get right into it, we'll start out with a Group A, which is kind of we got Netherlands as the heavy favorite, minus 223. Senegal, Ecuador, and Qatar also in the group. Qatar obviously have the open matchup of it. Pepe, if you want to start us off, what's kind of your feelings on that group and all about it?
So I think Holland is going to run through the group a little bit, especially with Mane being ruled out for Senegal. But I do think Senegal is still going to get second. I think they're just better than Ecuador and Qatar. Yeah, that's what I got.
Ryan, anything on that?
Well, first, before we start it off, not the biggest soccer guy. I do want to feel like I contribute something. So there was as you said, Sean, there's some craziness surrounding this World Cup. My friends in a group chat said earlier, there's a sign there that says no drinking alcohol, homosexuality, profanity, dating, loud musics and sounds, not respecting places of worship. So it sounds like this is going to be a giant mess, and I think it's going to be a lot more talk about kind of the politics of this rather than soccer. So, I mean, I personally don't follow soccer that much, but I'm always excited around World Cup time because it's just such a cool worldwide event to tune into. So I hope that doesn't get overshadowed in the midst of this. But Group A, I'm going to take Netherlands and Ecuador to make it out. I like Ecuador at the plus 105 there. On FanDuel, I think you get some good value on that play.
Yeah, that's solid. And it is going to be some strange scenes there. I saw a clip already that came out of a reporter kind of setting up in their interview, and whatever kind of like whether they're police or whatever it was came and like shut it down right away. So there's going to be a lot of kind of going on more than usual. And to throw it to Jimmy, what's kind of your thoughts on Group A and kind of this World Cup as a whole?
I think you make good picks there, Coyle. First off, yeah, I think this World Cup is definitely weird being in the winter. It's going to be interesting. I think it's unprecedented because it's right in the middle of all club. So if you get injured in club right before, we have a lot of notable injuries, especially like what Pep said about Mane is a huge loss to Senegal's offense, and I think that's what brings them down to third. And I think the Dutch and Ecuador first and second. And I found a bet. It was Netherlands exact points. I think they sweep through, like Pep said, 9 points, and I think it's like plus 240 I have here. I think that's a good one for Group A.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with a Netherlands and Senegal. I agree. Mane is a huge hit, one of the world-class players in the entire world, obviously, and big hit there, but I still think they got something going. It's going to be strange. So we'll swing it to Group B. We got England as the heavy favorites there, minus 304, Wales, and, of course, USA in this group, and as well as Iran. So, Pepe, if you want to start off this one as well, what are your thoughts with that?
So I also have England running through the group. I'm curious to what that line is. I think they get 9 points out of 9. And then for second place, I have Wales. I mean, I watch the USA a lot just because, being from America, and they just don't look good. I mean, whenever I watch them, they can't string any passes together. They don't play well. So I think Wales, with the European experience, I think they end up edging the USA.
Mm-hmm. Coyle, what about you?
So I like definitely England, of course, to make it through, and I'm also gonna go with Pepe here and take Wales. I feel like the U.S. around this time of the calendar when the World Cup's coming up, people try to act like they know what they're talking about, like I'm doing right now, but like act like they're big USA soccer fans, and the media train kind of gets rolling towards them, and I feel like they wind up disappointing usually come World Cup time. So. I think it'll be between them and Wales to make it out of that second spot with England finishing first in the group. But I'm going to side with Wales here, kind of like what Pep said with the European experience. I think they got that on their side.
Yeah, I'm going to swing with USA as my two, just kind of be a little patriotic, have a little belief. I do think the U.S. program has taken some significant strides forward in recent years, just looking at the amount of guys playing overseas in legitimate high-level clubs, but not as optimistic as I think I hope to be, especially how the group shaked out. Jimmy, what about you?
Yeah, I also have the Americans coming in second. I think that England's going to sweep through. I think that we're going to give them a tough fight in the second game, but I'm hoping for a point at least with England, but I overall I think England's going to top the group and Americans to follow. Having 25 out of your 26 players never experienced a World Cup is a little different, but we're making, like you said, Sean, big strides towards good youth and having a little bit of experience this World Cup. And I think with the talent that we have, the youth that we have, a little shaky in the center back line, but other than that, I think we can compete with anyone. So hopefully we can see them go to the round 16.
Yeah, you never know. So hopefully they can find a way to sneak in there. They pick up a quick 3 points and maybe find their way. They kind of just got to nudge one of those kind of upset victories and maybe they can sneak their way in. So we'll be rooting for U.S. It'll be cool to see the kind of whole country get behind, as tends to happen World Cup time as well. So who knows, maybe some magic happens. To move on to Group C, we got Argentina as the heavy favorites here, minus 223. Obviously, Messi looking to do his damage, add to his legacy. Also have Poland and Mexico in the group and Saudi Arabia as the long shots. Poland and Mexico both 450. Jimmy, I'll start with you on this one. What's kind of your feelings for Group C and your expectations?
I think there's a clear favorite again. I think Argentina sweeps through Group C. I think for me, I know some people are saying that it's going to be the big another CONCACAF team going in second. But for me, I'm going to have Poland. I think Lewandowski shows up this year. And I think Poland's going to be second. Mexico, I think, are going to have a sloppy and poorly executed World Cup this year. They had a really good one last World Cup, knocking Germany out, beating Germany. But I think they're going to drop, and I don't think they're going to make it through.
Coyle, what about you?
Before we get into that, I just want to add on Group B real quick. That England versus USA game on Black Friday, that should be, I think, one of the more higher-rated World Cup games, at least in United States history. That should be a really cool thing where, there's people traveling around the country with their family members and stuff. That should be like the main thing on the screen on that day. So that should be a kind of cool American thing, I think. But Group C, I'm going to go with Argentina, obviously, as a heavy favorite. And then I'm going to take Poland as my second team out between them and Mexico, obviously. But I'm going to side with the Polacks there.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as well. Pepe, how about you?
Yeah, I have the same picks. I don't think Mexico's as good as they usually are. A little fun stat is Lewandowski hasn't scored at a World Cup, so I think he's going to make that right. He's going to get a couple, and I think they're going to beat Mexico and go through.
Yeah, love it. So we will see. To move on to Group D, another hefty favorite. And when we get to Group B, it's kind of the first one. There's a little bit of an even playing field. I get that's kind of like the setup is there's always kind of that one team, but it feels like this World Cup specifically, it's kind of like a clear-cut one, and more so than I've kind of felt in years past. But who knows? That might just be me paying closer attention to it. But as far as Group D specifically, we got France at minus 250 as the heavy favorites, Denmark plus 275, and then 2 long shot ones in Tunisia and Australia. So any kind of thoughts here? Any surprises, or are we across the board with France and Denmark going? Coyle, I'll start with you.
I actually wanted to give our boy Ben Simmons some love. I put Australia to finish in second in the group. I feel like no matter what the sport, you're going to get chaos at some point. Let's have a little fun with it. And, if Australia does find a way to make it out, we can come back to this clip and I can be a soccer expert on the channel going forward. But I got France and Australia advancing out of Group D.
Yeah, there we go. Pepe, what about you?
I can't agree with that. I'm going to go with France and Denmark. I just think they're just way better than Australia and Tunisia. So I don't know. Upsets do happen, though. We're definitely going to get a couple of these wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, you can expect from the World Cup to be chaos, and who knows what kind of teams are going to happen. But Australia are they're very poor. They're going to be in fourth. Sorry, Coyle. But for me, I think what's crazy about the Group D, obviously, is the World Cup curse going to happen to France. It's happened the past couple World Cups where the winner does not get out of the group stage. But I think with this group, even playing field, but I think Tunisia and Australia are just not good enough to beat France, even with Conte and Pogba out. So I think France, for me, I have a big surprising one. I have the Danes coming first, having a good Euro 2 years ago. And I think they have, Eriksen's back. I think they have a good squad, and I think they're going to come in first, and France comes in second.
Wow,
I like that.
Yeah, good take there. I did not expect to get a Ben Simmons shout in this podcast, but Can't believe that. So move on to the most competitive group when looking at the lines and expectations. We have Group E here with Spain minus 112 as the biggest favorites, Germany plus 110, and then two lower notch with Japan plus 1200 and Costa Rica plus 5000. So still a pretty set 1 and 2, but a little more kind of up in the air between Spain and Germany. So I'll start off with you, Jimmy. What's kind of your expectations for out of these two and the group as a whole?
Well, I love this group. I really do. I think any team can shake it up. I think Costa Rica, another CONCACAF team that when they together, I think together they can do some damage. They're not very high level individually, but who knows what their team brings. But I still don't think they're going to do anything special. I love Germany and Spain. I think thankfully that Germany plays Japan and Spain plays Costa Rica on the first match day. I think they both get 3 points there. And the second game where Germany plays Spain, I think that's going to be one of the biggest games of the group stage. And I'm taking my family. I'm taking the Germans to come in first. Spain coming in second.
Okay, I like that. I think that's very possible too. Coyle, what about you?
I like Spain and Germany to advance out of this one as well. Kind of what I was looking through as I was doing the research on FanDuel. It seemed like there's a bunch of teams like Argentina, France, Brazil that are like the heavy favorites to. I was looking at just the two teams to advance out of the group. Those are all really heavy favorites, but then you look at Spain, they're minus 950 to advance, and Germany minus 750. So those are two pretty compelling, high level countries historically that we're looking to get back out of this group there. So I'm going to roll with them, and I think they kind of roll through that group. It'll be interesting to see who wins that tilt between them, though, to kind of get that number one spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Pepe, what about you?
I do have Germany and Spain. I have Germany beating Spain and getting first, but I do think it is going to be a tough group. I mean, Costa Rica is well organized. Japan's well organized. I don't think there's going to be any easy games, so I wouldn't be surprised if either Germany or Spain drop points and maybe even go out. But my pick is that Germany gets first, beats Spain, and Spain gets second.
Yeah, I agree. I've always kind of liked the way Japan plays too, watching them in the past. They're pretty like systematic and just kind of cool in the way that they go about it. So they're always kind of have the potential to pull an upset in my mind. So wouldn't be completely shocked if that happens, or at least pull a tie or some sort of positive result out of it. Looking ahead at Group F now, we have Belgium as the favorite at minus 200, Croatia, Morocco, and Canada in that. So Coyle, I'll start off with you on this one. Any thoughts on Group F?
Nothing special. I'm going to roll with Belgium and Croatia here. I got some Croatian blood in my body, so got to take them to make it out. And then Belgium's minus 550 to advance out of the group. That looks like a pretty heavy favorite there, so I'll roll with them as well.
Yeah, Belgium's always got a good squad. And Pepe, what are your thoughts on this group?
So I have Croatia and Belgium, but I actually have Croatia beating Belgium. I mean, Lukaku hasn't played this season really. Hazard hasn't really played. I mean, their back lines they're all old. They're just, I don't know. I just feel like they're past their prime. I don't see them doing well in this World Cup. But I think Croatia's going to beat them. I think Belgium probably squeaks by and gets second, and then loses in the round of 16.
Wow, Jimmy, what are your thoughts on that?
I have something wildly entirely different from the both. It's I have Belgium first. I think any team with Kevin De Bruyne is going to go far. I think they definitely go on, but I have them going first. I actually have the last World Cup finalists not getting out of the group. I have a CONCACAF dark horse, Canada, coming in second. I think the Canadians played well during CONCACAF. They haven't been in the World Cup since 36 years, I think. But I think Canada's gonna show up, unlike Mexico. So I think another CONCACAF team's gonna get through as well as the Americans. But I think Canadians are gonna pull through.
All right, I like that. And looking at kind of the odds of it is Canada at plus 1,200 as the fourth place team. Those are the shortest odds of any fourth place team out of all these groups. So it kind of feels like the odds kind of could see that happening as well, which is something that'll be cool to watch. Move on to two more groups. I'm sorry. Group G here, we have Brazil, who are the favorites of the entire World Cup. They're minus 250 to be the winner of this group. Switzerland also at plus 500, and Serbia and Cameroon rounding out the bottom. So Pepe, I'll start off with you with this one. What are your expectations with Group G? Think there's any chance the big dogs, the top favorites, do not get out or anything like that? Or what's your expectations?
Not in this group. I think Brazil goes through. And then I actually have Serbia as the second place team. I believe they're the third favorite. I think Switzerland's favored over them. But I think Serbia is a lot better of a team. And I would actually consider betting that line. I think it's plus 110. I think that's a good line with the Serbians to go through.
Wow. Jimmy, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with Pep. I think Brazil is just super, super stacked. We can go through the list of all their individual players and how much they progress over anyone else in this group, especially. But yeah, I think Serbia's very good team offensively and in the midfield. So I think Serbia takes second.
Yeah. How about you, Coyle?
Well, we got a Ben Simmons shout out. Now we got to get a Joel Embiid shout out. I'm taking Cameroon to advance as well with Brazil. I feel like when I was little, the two teams that I always kind of enjoyed watching the most in the World Cup was Cameroon and Ivory Coast. So I'm going to be all eyes on Cameroon when they're playing and hope to see them advance. But then obviously you got to go with Brazil. Even I know that they're one of the most talented teams year in and year out when it comes to the World Cup. So Cameroon and Brazil out of Group G for me.
Were those interests purely off jerseys? Because both have fire jerseys.
Yep, pretty much.
Kind of figured. But yeah, I agree. Brazil's I'm sure we're going to get much more into it when talking about the favorites of this. But Vinicius Jr. and Neymar is two of the most informed attackers in the world right now. Difficult to stop that offensive attack. And yeah, I think this is a slam dunk of them getting through. Unfortunately, I'm riding with Switzerland as my number 2. But to move on, touch on Group H here, the final group before we get into beyond this. Another one where there's a little more competitiveness amongst the odds of the group. We got Portugal as the favorite, minus 154, Uruguay at plus 200, and then Ghana and South Korea rounding out the group. So I'll start out with you, Pepe. What are your expectations for this one?
So I'm seeing Uruguay and Portugal going through, but I do think Uruguay beats Portugal. I think Uruguay has a really good team with Valverde, Bentancur in the midfield. I think that might be the best midfield duo in the World Cup. And then they have Darwin Núñez, Luis Suarez. I think that's really good up front. Núñez can make anything happen. So I have Uruguay actually beating Portugal and then Portugal getting second.
Nice. Coyle, what about you?
I got Portugal and Uruguay as well. Ronaldo is playing, right? So yeah, if he's playing, he's advancing. That's the golden rule for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Jimmy, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with Pep. I actually have the dark horses Uruguay winning the group. I think they have a talented squad. I think if they can hold off, their defense is a little shaky, a little slow. So any team that can beat them on the break, team like Portugal, who's fast up top. I mean, Portugal is also a stacked team, but I think Uruguay is going to get one here and they're going to win. I mean, this whole group, I really like this group because Ghana comes out at any World Cup and they can show out. So, and South Korea, I have Ghana at 3rd and South Korea at 4th because I think Son is a little not 100%, and I think if you don't have your star player with Heung-min Son, you're not going to do well in the World Cup.
Yeah, and I do want to touch on for Ronaldo specifically. There's been all the controversy, obviously the ugly scene on Man United and everything going on. Is there any kind of concern that carries over and he might not be necessarily at his peak? Jimmy, you say no?
Yeah, no, I think when it comes time for his international, when it comes down for Portugal to shine, it's all he cares about. I think in the dressing room is all about the whole team is just Portugal. I don't think he lets it. He's too thick of a headed guy to really let that affect the whole rest of the team. So yeah, I think they get out of the group for sure.
Yeah, Pepe, you feel the same way?
I agree with Jimmy. I think if anything, it'll motivate Ronaldo more to kind of just prove everyone wrong. Everyone's saying he might be washed, whatever. If anything, though, I guess him and Bruno might have some issues in the locker room. I'm not sure, but that might be the only issue. I don't know.
Yeah, I also feel like he's a big kind of legacy guy, and adding to that, which also adds to the fire of him showing up. So those are kind of the group talks. We'll talk about our expectations for a winner now, and then dive into some individual awards. Before I get into it, in the World Cup's 21 tournament history, there have been only 13 different countries that made a final. 8 different nations winning. Those 8 are Brazil with 5, Germany with 4, Italy with 4, France with 2, Argentina with 2, Uruguay with 2, and England and Spain each with 1. So with that in mind, let's jump into the top favorites for this one. We have Brazil at the top, plus 400, Argentina plus 550, France plus 650, England plus 750, Spain plus 750, Germany plus 1,000, and those are the top dogs. So is there anything out of those that jump out of you? Or I'll start with you, Pepe. Who's your kind of top pick right now if you have to pick a team you think is going to win?
I think I don't know. I would give it to either Brazil or Argentina. I really do. I mean, out of all those teams that you mentioned, I don't think Spain has a chance. I don't really think France does. But it could really be any of those teams. I mean, it could be Brazil, Argentina, England. Those are my top three, I think: England, Argentina, and Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Pep said. I think if I know the Germans and how they think, like getting out of the group stage last World Cup, they're going to be coming with vengeance, especially with Hansi Flick. I think he's world class manager. And they have special players, world class players. So don't be surprised if Germany go a long way. For me, I actually have Argentina, England final. I think England falls just short again, and I think Argentina lifts the trophy. And I think you see Messi win Copa America, then the World Cup in 2 years span. So
yeah, that'd be huge for Messi's legacy, obviously, if he's not considered the greatest already in people's mind. And I guess it's not quite coming home yet in your book there. So, Coyle, what about you? Any predictions for the top dogs?
I actually got England winning it all. I'm going to take over Spain. England on FanDuel was plus 800 to win it all. And the direct matchup of England beating Spain is plus 6,500. So a little $10 bet on that. That would pay $650. That'd be a nice little way to go into the holiday season. But looking back, England's only World Cup victory, I believe, was back in 1966. And for a nation that's had so many talented players throughout its history, I feel like they're kind of just due, and it might just be their year this year. So let's ride with England here, plus 800. I like that play.
Yeah, there we go. I'm surprised I'm the only one here, but I'm sticking with Brazil as my favorite. I just think with Neymar and Vinicius Jr. up top is such a dynamic offense. Both guys just so creative on their own, can play together. They've looked terrific in qualifying leading up. They've looked every bit the favorite that they've kind of been portrayed to be, and I do think they're going to get it done. So we'll swing to individual awards next. We'll start out with the Golden Boot. Looking at the favorites for that, we have Harry Kane at plus 750, Kylian Mbappe at plus 850, Karim Benzema plus 1,400, Neymar at plus 1,400, Messi at plus 1,400, Ronaldo at plus 1,600, and Lukaku at plus 2,300 are the top ones there. Jimmy, I'll start off with you. Any pick? Do you like any of these names, or is there any outside the box you think could be in the running?
Yeah, I think any of those, top scorers have a chance. Like Harry Kane's always going to get you goals. For me, I think that Lautaro Martinez from Argentina is going to get the Golden Boot. Argentina going so far, I mean, at least I have them going to the final. And I think with their group too, I think Martinez gets a few goals in the group and maybe along the way when they reach the final. And I think Messi provides him with a few goals as well. Messi obviously is going to have a couple goals himself, but I think there's going to be a shocker of Lautaro Martinez plus 2,000 to win the Golden Boot.
Wow, I like that. Coyle, what about you?
I'm going to go with Kane. I feel like just in terms of this award, you got to pick a guy that you think is going to be on the winning team. The best player from the winning team is going to be Kane, in my opinion, for this World Cup. So let's ride with him here.
All right, solid. Pepe, how about you?
I'm also riding with Kane. I mean, they have an easy group. I can see him maybe scoring two goals a game just in the group and then getting one every other game in the knockouts. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Kane. I also like the Lautaro pick. I just think there's too many goals between him, Messi, Di Maria. So I don't think he's going to get it. I think it's going to be Kane.
Okay, that's solid. I'm sticking with my winner as well, going with Brazil, and I'm giving it to Neymar. I can see the competitiveness kind of with kind of to Pepe's point of goals kind of being nipped around. I do think that's a point toward Kane's favor because he tends to just be the guy that gets everything, whether it's crosses, tap-ins, creating. They play very well off him as long as he sticks on the field. So all solid picks there. But I am riding with Neymar just because I do think he possesses that kind of brilliance. We've seen it in the past where he kind of just gets red hot, creates on his own, and can do it. We'll move on to the Golden Ball, which is now the favorite. So the Golden Boot, of course, is the most goals in the tournament. Golden Ball, which is the best player of the tournament. Messi listed as the favorite for that for plus 1,800, Neymar plus 1,000, Mbappe also plus 1,000, Benzema plus 1,200, and De Bruyne plus 1,400. So, Jimmy, I'll start with you on this one as well. Who's your pick for the best player in this World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an easy choice. No matter how well he plays in the tournament, no matter how many goals he gets, I think if Argentina wins, Messi gets the Golden Ball, no question. I got to go with my guy, Kevin De Bruyne, too. If Belgium have a magical run, they win the group or something like that, he's always special. I love watching him play. But I can also see Maybe a guy from Brazil also getting, maybe Neymar, depending on how far they go as well. But yeah.
Yeah. Coyle, how about you?
I'm fully hitching my wagon to England, Harry Kane. I like I said, if I have them winning it all, I have him scoring the most goals. I feel like he'll wind up winning the award at the end of the day. So, all in on England. Let's ride.
All right, Pepe.
I gotta ride with Messi. I gotta ride with the GOAT. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I respect that. I do think this is, I mean, as is every World Cup, but this is a big one for legacy because we talk about these guys as much as they've been a part of our entire lives watching soccer, like guys like Ronaldo and Messi, like the window is not open forever for seeing them kind of rake up these accomplishments, be at their peak level. And we are starting to kind of see them progress in the twilights of their career. So I think for both those guys individually, this is a big one. So it would be cool to see Messi, either one of these guys kind of go on a run. I'm personally more lenient toward Messi, but to see either one of these guys kind of truly like show their dominance again, prove that they still got it would be very cool. So I would love to see Messi win it, to be honest. And we'll move on to the best young players we kind of want to highlight, which I think is an important one. We kind of talked right there about the legends that we currently have with Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, even in that group, all the other big names. Who are the guys that you think are up next, going to make a positive impact, kind of put themselves on the map? Some of these guys that I'm going to list off are definitely already on the map a little bit, but Pepe, I'll start with you if you got any names that jump to mind that you think are going to make a strong impression.
I'm going to go with Vinicius. I mean, we already saw it last year in the Champions League. He was just running by everybody, but I think he's going to show it in the world stage now, and I think he'll be the most bright young player.
Solid. Coyle, how about you?
I'm not even going to chime in on this one. You guys take it away here.
All right, Jimmy, how about you?
Yeah, there's a few guys that I like. I love Gavi from Spain. Pedri from Spain, but for me, I think a young player that stands out is Bayern Munich and German Jamal Musiala. He's having I think, very good season with Bayern right now, and he's very in form, and he can do so much. Especially, I mean, he can take the midfield for Germany this year with Goretzka and Kimmich and Müller and Sané and Gnabry, and Musiala's right up there. He can do just as good as any one of the players. So I'm going with Musiala.
Yeah, love that. I think that's a great pick. I also like Vinicius a lot. Pepe, I like that. I think he's a guy who's kind of established himself and proven that he's ready to be on the top stage. Two guys that I think have a little bit more to prove are both on Spain, in Pedri and Gavi. And Gavi is the youngest player in Spain history to be called up for a World Cup at just 18 years old. He's coming off a 2022 Copa Trophy and the Golden Boy Award winner. And Pedri joining him in the midfield at 19 years old. He already made his name in the 2020 Euros where he won Best Young Player of the tournament. Spain, I think, is going to play like something to prove, and these guys are going to have a key role in it. So it is cool just the amount of young talent, all these guys coming in. Either you guys have any thoughts on those players or anything else you want to shout out?
Not on those guys. I do have one more guy that I wanted to shout out, Jude Bellingham. I think, another guy out of the Bundesliga. I think he's going to be a key part if England wants to do well.
Yeah, fair enough. And before we wrap this up, do you think there's any chance USA can make some noise this year? Pepe, what would have to happen for that to be the case?
Tim Ream, I think, has to start at center back. I think their center back pairing that took them through qualification. I don't see them being good enough. I think Tim Ream, he's had a really good season for Fulham. He's a captain. He would be a leader on the field for them because they have a lot of young guys, and I think they need that old vet presence in the back. I think he would have to start, and I think all those young guys just have to ball out. I don't know. I just don't see it, though. 2026, they'll be ready, but I don't think they're ready this year.
Yeah, I kind of agree in the mindset that this is very much like a step forward, but still more of like this is them kind of getting their feet wet, testing the water. It's kind of a measuring stick for a lot of these guys. But with that being said, still USA moving forward. Jimmy, do you think there's any chance USA can do something to create some noise?
Yeah, I think if they get out of the group, I think their mindset on how they're approaching the World Cup, what Greg Berhalter has always been saying is like it's two tournaments. Getting the group stage and then the knockout stages is totally different. So I think that the USA could find their way out of the group. I think that's a win for them. I think because if they do, they're going to have to play Holland in the round of 16 knockout. And Holland's such a, I think more talented team right now than them, more experience in the World Cup and more experience in any tournament and European players as well, that that'll be a tough. It reminds me of the 2014 team playing Belgium. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of what you guys were saying, I think 2026 we have the experience. Who knows, what type of players are going to be playing where. We may not even have any more MLS players playing for the men's national team after this World Cup. So who knows?
Yeah, definitely. So some major steps forward expected regardless. We finally have some World Cup soccer. It's been quite some time, 4 years and change with all the COVID stuff and everything else. So hopefully everything goes off smoothly. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will talk with you next time. Probably not too much more soccer content in our future, but you never know. So appreciate you for tuning in. We'll talk with you next.